Well, we're here with GreenWorks talking about Advanced IAQ. Just kind of going over, they were the first pilot adopters of the new service and just wanted to bring the man in charge here to walk us through how it's been successful for him and what he's learned and whatnot. So without further ado, Aaron, please introduce yourself.
Cool. Hey, everybody. My name is Aaron with GreenWorks Inspections and Engineering. I run our environmental consulting firm. So we do everything from mold to radon, asbestos, lead, water. And just very recently branched into like IAQs very intentionally. Like we didn't want to be um, like a basic service. We wanted to actually provide answers for the clients. It's something that we got really interested in because of our mold inspections. It's predominantly what we do here in Texas as a consulting firm. The majority of our projects are centered around mold. In the residential space, it gets kind of tricky because you get a lot of people that they're scared, right? They're concerned about their health or something's happening. And what started to happen is that sometimes you go out there for a mold inspection and they don't actually have a mold problem, but you can't actually tell them what the problem is, right? It just kind of stops there. It's like, well, we know you don't have mold, right? Like, so good luck with the next leg of your journey, right? We wanted to be able to be that next leg of the journey for them, right? To give them a broader spectrum of readings. So we did play with various options, and the lab that we used to use had a version of an expanded analysis. It just really like it gave them more. It just never really felt right to me. I felt like we could be doing more, right? So um, I think you and I started talking about the idea of particle identification maybe a year and a half ago. What it would look like, what it would mean to the clients and stuff like that. Um, and we were excited. So the field team was really excited when we first got the first pilot iteration of the particle ID. We were like, man, the way that I kind of explained it to our field team is just, it's a broader spectrum of readings for the client. It's going to give us more information. It gives them as the technicians and consultants more um, confidence in that conversation of like, hey, these are the things that we see going on with your property. Um, and and so the way that I kind of prepared them for this new report that that nobody had really seen before was that, hey, it's kind of just like the expanded analysis that we're used to, right? So they were expecting like maybe like 5 line items on top of mold. And then we got those first reports and it's like 20 line items and mold and particulates, and they were blown away, and they were so excited to be able to use it in the field. Um, and again, being like part of the pilot, it gave us the options. It gave us more options. We were kind of playing with how it would fit. Is this a standard service? Do we revamp an existing service? Is it its own service? And we really got to play with like every iteration of that to see like what really mattered to the client. And so to get kind of the word out, we would do like internal competitions. So like type of uh, competition where they're kind of incentivized to upgrade to a premium package. And those did really well. We kind of were able to hone in on the demographic that really is looking for this service. And now it's just with the advanced IAQ report, it's really brought like full circle, like this is what it is to do an IAQ, and then this is your basic mold inspection, right? It really kind of it does set us apart from most people doing quote unquote IAQs. I've seen some pretty basic ones. I've seen if you add temperature and humidity and CO2, like, that's your IAQ, which is just that's all just in our mold inspection. You know what I mean? Like that's just part of taking air readings. So it really did set us apart. And the guys love it. I mean, they don't want to do mold inspections anymore. They want to do advanced IAQs. And there's really like limitless potential with something like this. You could hit so many different demographics. It's we've done them for schools, we've done them for hospitals, we do them on the residential side, commercial due diligence. Like it really does open the door if you're a service provider, right? Like if you're here in Texas, a mold consultant or an IAQ specialist, it really splits the difference between like run of the mill IAQ readings and like lead certification, green building council type of IAQs, right? There's never really been something that fits that middle part. Like this
Right.
ticks all the boxes, and you don't have to wait weeks for your results, and it doesn't cost tens of thousands of dollars to do it. So it's been pretty cool. I'm pretty excited to see where we take it next year. Um, with some of the ideas that you and I had recently discussed, just ways to revamp that service.
Nice. And you kind of mentioned, figuring out that target demographic and the incentives that you use internally to do so. I think a lot of the customers that we have that are wanting to get into this service, they kind of face that first wall is, who do I actually target with this? Does GreenWorks, you guys have been doing it for a little while, who kind of fits the mold the best of who you're really trying to convert? Like if this customer walks in the door, they're going to add this on, no doubt.
Yeah, so with our field and our call center staff, they're pretty well trained to actually have that conversation with the client. So
Right.
we actually talk to the clients. We understand what they need, right? But it really is. We had like a lot of out of state people that are more kind of environmentally aware. I don't want to say like, hey, Texans, we don't care about the air quality, but it did seem to be like younger home buyers or out of state people, um, young families, things like that, that were really kind of almost asking for it, like just through their questionings. Um, Listening to their concerns. Every inspection that we do starts with an interview, right? We always sit down with the client and kind of try to better understand why we're there to begin with, right? Like what caused you to call us for the service, and then even while we're there on site before we start our assessment, we know even better what their concerns are. And if there's not an advanced IAQ on their order and they're a good candidate based on their consultation before the assessment started, then we pitch it right there and we say, hey, look, we can go ahead and do what you called us out here to do, but I really think this service is going to be the most beneficial for you. And like I said, like like we have copies of our reports that they keep, on their iPads, on their phones, so
Right.
that they can show them like this is what you ordered, this is what the report would look like, but this is what I think would be better for you. And it's just again, when you can have 20 molds listed, right? But if you have 20 molds and then 20 other things that you weren't even thinking about, they're going to feel more comfortable getting that version of the report, right? Because everybody wants to know as much as they can, right? And so and if you can do it at a reasonable price and you're not taking up the rest of their day to do it, they're going to go for it. So now it's we've kind of we've kind of come to the realization that it's like as long as they know about it, they're gonna want it. Um, like a lot of people don't know what they want, right? And they don't know what they don't know is what it is. And it's like they think they know what they need or and what they need to order on the phone, but they don't know about advanced IAQ, right? They've never heard of it. So when you break that down, we've had a lot of clients actually say like, oh, well, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted, right? Or like that's what I was talking about when I was, on the phone with the call center. Um, but it is just that knowledge gap, which is really cool. I like that we're on the kind of ground floor. We get to kind of make
Experiment.
up the rules. Yeah, it's like uh, uh, anytime I've done like some like innovative like crazy thing here at GreenWorks, um, I always tell our CEO like to comfort like to give them comfort I say, hey, look, like if we're writing the book, we make up the rules, right? It's one of those things. It's just like it's so new and innovative that you can kind of plug it in various places to see where it actually works before actually deciding where you'll stick it in your lineup. And for us, it plays two or three different roles within our larger lineup. It's really it's adaptable. You can add it to almost anything that you're doing. We've had radon jobs that we go out and they end up taking advanced IAQ readings because they just want to know, right? Radon is just one air quality issue that you could have. And when they see like, hey, while I'm here, I can also do all of these other things, they're very interested in the knowledge that it provides.
Nice. And you kind of mentioned one thing as well, like when you guys were the original pilot of this service, and one thing you and I talked about quite a bit, but you know a lot better than me, is that internal adoption. So like from our individuals thinking about getting into advanced IQ, our feedback has been they're concerned about what demographic they're going to, and then a lot of struggles is that internal adoption of what you're trying to sell and how to sell it and why to sell it. You guys seem to crack that code immediately. As soon as you hit go, samples started flying in right off the gate. What were those steps that you guys took internally to motivate and educate the team? And, what are you doing now to keep them motivated and keep them pushing?
Yeah, I think the initial conversations were just centered around not just how we can help the client, but how this helps them as technicians, right? Because it is we are a clients first company, right? It's all over our brandings. Like clients first is one of our major like trademarks, right? Like that's like we're here to serve the client. The truth is, internally, we're inspector led. We're an inspector first firm. Like, and you have to be because you have to have confident technicians and happy technicians to be able to put that client first, right? And so a lot of what we do, especially on the environmental side, is I take a very collaborative approach to leadership. I don't tell them like, hey, this is the thing we're doing, go out and do it, right? This is the new initiative, go do your job. It's more of a conversation. So almost as soon as we started having the conversation of particle IDs, I started having the conversation with my team about what it would look like to do it, right? And you get some of these ideas, some of the demographics that we went after, or some of the ways that we pitched it were direct ideas from the field team, right? When you have that collaborative approach, when they feel like they have a say in the direction, they're going to be more bought in. I see it all the time. Like I've made the mistake too of, hey, this is the way, go execute. It never works as well as if, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. What do you think about it? How do you think it would work, right? Because even if it's a bad idea and you let them do it and they fail, at least they know that they got a chance to try it, right? And so it really was that kind of collaborative, just it was a conversation. It was an open conversation for everybody to kind of pick it apart. What don't you like about it? What red flags do you see about it? Like which ways do you think it's going to be most beneficial? And so the buy-in, because that's just how we kind of operate internally, was immediate. They were just excited to see the end result and to be able to start implementing their ideas that they were pitching, going like moving past the initial launch. What's kept them motivated is not it's actually not the financial incentive. So there's some services that I do provide that, hey, you get a bonus if you upgrade, right?
Right.
If it's an order that doesn't have the advanced IQ and they upgrade it to that, I'm going to pay them extra for doing the work of upgrading, right? What I've found though is that's not really what's motivating them. What's motivating them is the impact that they're able to have on the client. A lot of our inspectors, even on the home inspector side, if you ask them like, why do you do what you do? It's to make an impact. They want to be part of client's journey. They want to be able to leave them better off than they found them. And so that impact um, aspect to it is like very important to them. And when you can give somebody, hey, it wasn't mold, it was actually like this thing, right? Hey, your PM2.5 is like off the chart. That's what it actually is, right? Um, it really, they walk away feeling like, hey, I did everything I could to help that client and I made difference, which is really cool to see. I don't know um, how other companies struggle with continued motivation. I do know that like extrinsic rewards is just in a corporate culture is just like you're inundated with that, right? Like, hey, I'll give you more money if you do this thing, right? Uh, which can work, and it does work to a point. But I think for longevity, like and culture building, you can't base a company culture or a team kind of philosophy around money reward.
I like that. And, so you guys kind of started out with that internal incentive and talking with the team, get them all motivated and going. And my understanding, it was a lot of field conversions to begin with, and then the call center kind of rolled out. The numbers just started booming from there. What is your guys' kind of, thought process or next steps with Advanced IAQ from a marketing perspective? Are you guys, thinking through, just kind of want to hear that thought process from GreenWorks and how they plan on taking the same to the next level?
Yeah, so when we started, our call center didn't even know about it. Like 90% of the company didn't know about it. It was me and maybe like two or three technicians that were just like, hey, we're gonna try this thing out, and this is where I think it will work, right? And so we just started kind of playing with it, like quiet beta test. I built a simple little secret operation, and we started gaining traction. And the more traction we would get, okay, let's bring another guy in and get his ideas into it. And then when the call center found out about it, they're like, "Oh man, like we're gonna sell these like hotcakes, right?" And I really wanted to do it that way so that the field service was complete. It was they were already confident in what they were doing before the phones started ringing, because I knew that once that call center got a hold of this thing, they were going to be getting them left and right. And I didn't want them to be building the experience on that service as they were getting booked. I wanted them to already be solid on that service. Um, so we built it out that way. The call center got a hold of it, and it's just been, I mean, if it's not an upgrade, it's a standalone or it's a component of like a completely different service. We've done them on some of our commercial PCAs where it's not really an environmental service. They're doing condition assessment through the inspection vertical, but they want just this aspect of it, right? So we've done it that way. We've been very I guess like pliable and adaptable with it. We kind of let it do what it wants, right? We put it where the client wants it. And now that we kind of know like, hey, these are the orders, these are the types of orders that aren't environmental that they upgrade the most with. These are the environmental services that they upgrade the most with. These are the instances, or these are the things that our field team are seeing that lead to the most upgrade conversions. We've kind of been gathering all that information, right? Another one that rounds it out is like, these are the things the client is saying on the phone that lead to more conversions of this upgrade, right? So I think now more than ever, we know who our demographic is, what services they best relate to, and where really they're most beneficial to the client and to us as a company. And so I think for next year, what we're doing is building out a tiered IAQ service where we're going to have your stripped down basics all the way up to your advanced IAQ. And that does give us more opportunities to touch more people. If they can't afford that premium service up front, they can take components of it and what makes sense. That's been like the real winner. I think even still on the phone, most of the samples we're sending you guys are upgrades. And what I want to do is make that upgrade a standard so that it's expected, right? Like that's how you get the industry behind you is you set the standard. And so if I can make this advanced IAQ the new standard of residential or commercial indoor air quality assessments, it's not only going to help us increase that ticket and get more jobs and all the good things, right? It's going to do that for everybody else that comes behind us after this pilot. You know what I mean? And that's what I want. I get like we were joking like about competition, like they can compete. But it's really not about that. It's about like how do we boost that part of the industry? Because IAQs is kind of the Wild West in a lot of places. There's not a general consensus. There's not strict regulations on it. You know, anybody can do it kind of thing, which is great for some people. But I do want like those people that are getting into it because it's not regulated to still have a standard, you know, and a high one, you know. I think we'd all be better off if the standard was a little bit higher, you know, and it was just, yeah, you can do that. You can buy this device on Amazon, or you can actually get this laboratory report that tells you a lot more and it's a lot more accurate. So I do want to try and, you know, bolster the service itself and build an actual suite of services around it that are just kind of like that all kind of funnel you towards that advanced IAQ. I do think it's from what we've seen outside of like, you know, our special sensor devices and stuff like that. Like it's very much as close to a catch-all as you can get, right? It's going to give you the most bang for your buck. If you're interested about your air quality, you should be interested in this type of a report for sure.
Nice. And kind of getting into the numbers aspect, you and I have had a bit of a long road with this, but I think we're at a pretty good consistent point within GreenWorks, and it's still continuing to rise every month with those conversions. Do you guys have any kind of data that you'd be like over your guys' conversion rate within like a mold to advanced IAQ upsell, or do you guys have a good feel on, you know, what that impact has been?
Yeah, so I think in the field, it's like a 90% conversion rate. It's like anytime they talk about it, the clients are done for it because it's just, again, it's just that knowledge gap that they're closing. And like, yeah, you can have this or you can have that, right? Like it's it really sells itself, you know, if they know how to communicate to the client. So, and I know that's a big hurdle to get over, especially with the new service. Like, and that's why I'm grateful that we had like, again, we talked for like months and months before it was an actual report. So I already kind of knew how I would communicate these things before I even had to communicate these things. So I think like for most companies that are like, yeah, I don't know what my demographic would be with this thing, or I don't know how to break into the market. I think it's less about that and more about how you communicate it to anybody. Like anybody's your demographic if you know how to talk to them. You know what I mean? And like for us to have that opportunity to really spend time with it before it was live, really gave us a leg up in those field, especially the field conversions, you know. Also like don't have people out there upgrading it that have like zero experience with anything right? Like maybe put them in a class or something, you know, like but it's yeah, it's been great. And then you can see that too. It's like the guys in the field, they're more accustomed to talking to these things. They do it for a living. They're technicians and consultants and they're used to talking about like indoor air quality already. So we're just adding to their tool belt. And you see the difference in the call center where they don't have that experience. And some of them are overseas, right? And they don't really understand why we do the things we do all the time. And for those, you do see the drop, right? Their conversions are maybe 65 to 70% on an upgrade, right? If they're not selling it as part of like the IAQ inspection itself and they're trying to add it, they have less success because they don't have that. They're not as confident as somebody that does it for a living, right? That looks at lab results for a living. So I think that's, I mean, like 60 to 70% conversion on a phone upgrade, like is probably not bad. But it's like for us, like, but it's not 90, you know.
Right.
But they're great. Like you and them too, like the call center agents that are upgrading this the most often are the ones that are having that conversation with us, or they'll join our field team meetings to ask those questions like, hey, a client asked me this and I didn't know how to answer it, what would you say, you know? And then they write that down, and then they go and they boost their conversions, you know, the next week. So I think we'll get there. I think every phone call will be an upgrade if they're applicable. um but yeah, I mean, it's just, you can't teach your demographic or even know your demographic if you don't know the service, you know. um we're very intentional about everybody knowing the service, that they get, you know, 1 hour one-on-ones with me every week until they do. So um I don't know, I talk fast and I get very energetic, and I'm sure like after like five of those one-on-ones they're like, damn, like I can't take it anymore, you know. It's time to start learning. I need to lock this down so he'll leave me alone. But yeah, it's been great. I think they're all excited. I mean, even the call center staff, like some of them have asked if they can, you know, like get in the field and do some of these, which I think is pretty awesome. If you're able to do it, to have your call center people kind of go out. We do it with like larger commercial jobs where we'll send, if somebody's like my top selling asbestos call center person, like they're going to go see what that actually looks like.
Yeah,
Uh,
dude, that sounds.
but yeah, it's been cool. It's been an interesting journey, and it's been fun. It's been because it's like I said, it's we kind of just gotta we get to make it up as we kind of go along and build it into what we want it to be, um, which is really cool. I really like some of that information that you sent over the other day, where it's not so different from how we're kind of approaching it already, but it is good to know kind of like your vision for it because you built this thing, right? And so
Right.
it's like, how do I pilot it um and stay true to like the PriorityLab vision of what it is, right? Because like I can make it something great, but if you're like, "Oh, that's not how it's supposed to be used," you know, like I don't want that. So I think it's been pretty cool. It was really cool to see when you sent me that flyer after our last meeting, about before I opened it, I was like, I had the thought of like, I wonder how different our ideas are. And then I opened it up and I was like, not that different, you know.
No.
So pretty cool. It's pretty cool to be to have just as innovative as a partner on the other side of things, um, and to be like on this kind of like building journey, like to know that like I'm helping to build something that I'm in alignment with, you know, that I really do think has the potential to set a new standard, especially in, you know, most of the other states where it's not regulated. You know, like uh, a lot of like it's 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 predominantly what we do, is mold, right? It's you're a licensed mold consultant or you're a licensed technician, and we're regulated, and there's things you can say and can't say, and all those things. And so it was kind of funny to see our younger guys, our newer licensed people were all for the change, and they were like, man, awesome, like more things to add to the tool belt. Our older MACs are like, that's not how we do it in Texas, you
Right.
know. It was a lot more conversations with them to get them on board, and but they are now, and they're like, yeah, I do see the benefit of this, and you know, they're not scared of, you know, blurring lines. It really doesn't, you know. And I do like that even within the report itself, we can kind of tailor that report. You know, if they don't need mold, they're concern of theirs, like, cool, we don't have to do that. Let's just do the IAQ, you know, the advanced IAQ part of it, um, which is pretty cool. I think if you have companies out there that are struggling to add this on or confused on to how they add it on, like start with your mold inspections, add it to that, you know, because I know that we're not alone in having those interactions with clients where it's like, hey, you don't have mold. And then the client's like, now what? You know, and you don't have an answer for them. That's not a unique situation, you know. So I would encourage all the companies you approach with pitching this in the field, for their companies to start there. I think that was like the easiest thing for us to do is like add it to a service you're already doing, and then see how that works for your company and your client base, and then build your own service around that. Right? We kind of had we were kind of ahead of the curve because we already had IAQ, we already had mold, we had different versions of very similar services. And so for us, I think too, like our success in kind of really piloting this thing and getting the numbers up pretty quickly was that we had different avenues to plug it into, right? But if all you do is mold, do it there, you know, don't start a new service, you know, add it to what you have until you figure out what you got, you know.
No, and and that's all awesome. And you had kind of mentioned, you and I spending a lot of time kind of discussing this service, pre-launch during its old kind of reporting phase. You guys even leveraged it before there was determinations on it and the name change as well. And you and I, we talk at least twice a month, I guess, just kind of getting a pulse check on where this is going, if there's any tweaks we can make, etc. And just one thing for the audience as well is you guys all having a dedicated account manager, like how I am to Aaron at GreenWorks, that is supposed to be doing the same thing. It has the tool belt and the materials to leverage that for your company. So please take advantage of that and reach out to them and ask them for the flyer that we just sent over to Aaron. Those are completely free and launching on Tuesday, where we're funding that marketing. So if you guys need trifolds, you just order it from us. We'll send you a package with however many you need to give out to your client base, and just kind of gaining that knowledge and the expertise over the Advanced IAQ. Those guys sit in those chairs for a reason to be an extension of your company on the environmental side. So just wanted to make that one point there. But kind of rolling into that, what has been the biggest piece of support that PriorityLab has given you guys with this rollout from GreenWorks perspective?
Honestly, it's not like one specific thing, but the responsiveness. Like like on the weekend, if I need something, I have someone to reach out to. If it's, getting close to the end of day and I need an update, like I'm gonna have that update within 5 minutes. It's not like with any lab. If you're shipping things to a lab, things go wrong, right? It's not really making sure those things don't go wrong. It's working through it when they do, and having that communication, like a partnership like that, where it's like, hey man, I think you dropped the ball on this, right? Cool, let's have a conversation, right? And a lot of times it's, we dropped the ball on something, right? And it's like, it's having that open line of communication, which I think is really cool. For as big as Priority is, to still have that small touch to it, it feels organic. It feels close knit, and that's what I mean. A lot of companies are smaller than us, and even for as big as we've gotten over the last 5 years, like that's something that I don't want to lose, right? Like I don't want to be just another corporate number. I want to have a conversation and a relationship with the partners that I have, and I think that's been, even for our field guys, to have Doc Shane on our call, like they're still talking about that, right? Like, hey, when's Doc coming back? Like they're all doing like Dr. Shane impersonations on our meetings now. It's like they love it. And you don't get, yeah, you don't get that from every lab that you talk to. So it's really really cool. The responsiveness and the willingness to work with us, right? Like we have people across the state, and sometimes they have a shipping error, or sometimes there's an issue in the field, or they forgot a shipping label at home, and I've never had an issue not getting one emailed to me, or having the resolution by the end of the day. Like I think for sure that's been the biggest benefit partnering with Priority.
No, we appreciate that. And um, also kind of what I wanted to get into as well is, what would you guys say is the biggest lesson that you learned during the rollout that you'd like to share with others?
The biggest lesson that we learned, it kind of just goes back to my advice to other companies, right? Like on where to start, because we had that too, where it was just like, man, when you first pitched it to me, I was like, dang, this is so cool. How do I use it? Like where do I stick that thing, right? Like, and I did go through like, is it its own service? Is it, do I put it here? Like like who's it good for kind of thing. Um, I think it just comes down to put it somewhere that makes sense, like path of least resistance, right? If you have a mold inspection, that's what you started with, right? If you have a IAQ inspection that you do, it's not as good as it would be with this. So like put it on that, upgrade it, right? I think for us, like our biggest concern was like where do we put it, right? And then a close second was like how do we talk about it? Um, but it really like once you get past those two things, like this thing, like I said, it sells itself. It's an amazing product to be able to give somebody much more than they're expecting. Um, it really goes a long way, right? And especially like if you show them the differences, like a big one like that my guys like to do in the field is, hey, this is what you ordered, and they show them a sample report, and this is what I'm suggesting you upgrade to, and they show just like it's a stark contrast, right? Because like to do a mold inspection, it's a great service, like we built our company on that service. Um, but it doesn't tell you all the information, right? Or there's a lot of information more to gain from that simple upgrade. Um, so yeah, I would start with like where it makes more sense. It's for us it was the mold inspection. For most people that are doing air testing, that's where it's going to be, right? For a home inspector, like an easy grab is like anything past 1990, right? A historic home package, right? Like let's check that air quality. Um, because again, like even here in Texas, to do that particle ID, you don't need a license for it. It's not a mold assessment. It's not a regulated industry. And even as a home inspector, another thing back to like what's most beneficial about Priority is like the staff. Like they have the ability to help the client understand those reports. You don't have to be the expert in every line item of that report, right? Like priorities number on it, and the client can reach out to them, which is really cool. Especially like I know that in other states, I think you do work a lot with home inspectors, and I would see this like I think it's much less of a daunting thing to add a service like this to our company because we are an environmental firm as well as all these other things, right? For a home inspector that's trying to get into environmental services, one, if you're in Texas, do this because I don't want you doing unlicensed mold inspections, right? But two, it's like you have that kind of comfort built in, right? Like you have that close connection with Priority. You have an account manager to lean on if you have questions, and the report kind of speaks for itself. Like it's just you take your samples and you let Priority do their thing, and then they're going to give you all the information. So I think for a home inspector, I would put it, in like a historic home package, or if you're doing an older home or an occupied home, it's something that can very easily like like talking to all the home inspectors, like you've all walked into a home where it just smells off, right? Like it smells lived in, right? That's a prime candidate, you know. So it's like you don't have to have environmental services in your suite of services to be able to do something like this. I think it's a very um, easy easy door to walk through, and I think I don't really think about it through like the home inspector lens, but even just through this conversation, it's like, man, that's such a easy way to get into the industry, right? If that is something that they're trying to add to their kind of expertise, right? Um,
Take the
very
low
much.
hanging fruit, go to the obvious stuff, something that smells or older homes or
Yeah, yeah,
old inspection, just add it on right off the gate and just build off of it once you get some confidence is kind of the path forward for sure. So
yeah, for sure.
um and kind of closing out this conversation a little bit. Just wanted to ask again, what's kind of the next steps for GreenWorks with Advanced IAQ, and wanted to know if you had anything else to share with the audience and the inspectors that are going to be listening to this.
I can't give all of our secrets away. Um, I think really with Advanced IAQ, we really want to focus on like the commercial space next year. There's a lot of we've done a lot just in the last couple months, production plants and stuff like that that were kind of with our IAQ, we're able to kind of get, you know, the answers they needed, but um, we've actually gone um, we've actually gone back to previous commercial clients that we had before Particle ID and shown them this, and they're like, "Yeah, do that. You know, like, we want those answers too." So it's really cool to be able to kind of focus on the commercial space because again, like there's commercial high rises and then there's strip malls and there's small doctors' offices, right? There's levels to the game. Not everybody has tens of thousands of dollars budgeted for IAQ assessments, right? So that's kind of been the niche that we've honed in on over the last several months. Um, because we can again, it's kind of the same concept of how we build off of like serving residential clients when other larger firms don't want to. How can we better serve the small commercial guy where the larger firms aren't going to give them the time of day kind of stuff? And like something like this, we've seen it again. Like I think just last month we revisited four previous clients that we had before the particle ID that I just reached out like in an email following up and like, hey, just so you know, we have this new service. I think you might be interested. And they, you know, that day called and booked the advanced IAQ to get more readings. So I think that's something that I want to explore a lot more. And then um, I don't know. I don't honestly know that there's one place that I'll focus primarily. I think it's just like the kind of build out of this where we just kind of like stuck it where it fit. Um, I kind of want to let it cook a little bit and see which one takes off more. And then obviously that's where my marketing dollars go. But um, I think that it's just so like it's such a robust report to limit it to just one demographic. You can stick this thing on anything and make it better, you know?
Nice. Kind of closing this thing out, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the audience?
Um, if you're in Texas, call GreenWorks for anything, everything. Um, no, I mean, I don't know. It's been a journey, man, and I like this. I like this advanced IAQ. Sorry, I stumble over the name because it's a new name. I've been calling it something else entirely. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited for the next evolution. I think the field team is like super stoked on advanced IAQ. You know, we were calling it particle ID before. Um, so they've kind of like reinvigorated them. Um, Yeah, I don't have anything specific to add, man. If you need a home inspection engineering service or anything environmental in the state of Texas, Colorado, Oklahoma, Georgia, or Florida, call GreenWorks. I think that's all the states I got. I was trying to. I'm pretty sure that's all of them.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you for your time and sharing your guys' thoughts and experiences with Advanced IQ. And just a couple notes from the Priority Lab side. Please contact your account manager about anything that you need to kind of explore the Advanced IQ further. This video would have come out after the email that we sent about the free trifolds that we're producing for you guys. It's all custom. You get your logo on it, your number, etc. And we do all the work for free. All you have to do is pay for shipping. So definitely take advantage of that opportunity. But that's going to be it for today. So thank you again, Aaron.